When you watch Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, it's clear the show leans heavily on the chaos of young parenthood, the Cooper family drama, and the lingering emotional fallout from young Sheldon. But there's one thing many fans agree on. As entertaining as Georgie and Mandy are, the show would actually be even funnier if an underrated character were the one in the spotlight, Meemaw. While Georgie and Mandy carry the heart of the story, Meemaw brings a comedic spark that feels effortless, unpredictable, and genuinely laugh out loud in a way the younger characters can't always match. She's been the Cooper family's secret comedic weapon since young Sheldon, and placing her at the center would shift the tone of the spin-off from lightly humorous to genuinely hilarious. Meemaw has always had that rare ability to take serious situations and twist them into something simultaneously heartfelt and ridiculous. Whether she's scheming, gambling, lying creatively to get her way, or simply roasting the people around her, she brings an energy that makes every scene feel alive. Even when the storyline is heavy, Georgie struggling with responsibility, Mandy chasing career opportunities, Mary grieving, Meemaw's presence adds this chaotic levity that prevents the show from sinking too deeply into drama. Imagine if that energy was the foundation of the entire series instead of just an occasional highlight. We'd probably see more outrageous schemes, sharper comedic timing, and more unpredictable plot swings that keep the show from falling into the rhythm of a standard sitcom. What makes Meemaw such an underestimated potential lead is that she's funny without ever trying to be. Georgie tries to be funny and sometimes succeeds, mostly because he's unintentionally clueless. Mandy tries to be sarcastic and witty, but her humor often leans into frustration or exhaustion. Meemaw, on the other hand, is naturally outrageous. She doesn't soften her edges, she doesn't filter herself, and she doesn't worry about being likable. That combination is comedy gold. A Meemaw-led version of First Marriage would show someone older, wiser, and far more reckless trying to navigate life after losing George, helping raise her grandchild, running semi-legal side hustles, and meddling in Georgie and Mandy's lives in ways that are both disastrous and hysterical. Another reason she would elevate the comedy is that she's the only Cooper who truly balances the extremes of the family. She understands Sheldon's logic even when she doesn't agree with it. She understands Georgie's impulsiveness because she shares some of it. She relates to Missy's frustration because she sees her own younger self in her. And she has a lifelong history with Mary that mixes love, judgment, and sibling-style annoyance. Putting all of those dynamics front and center would immediately deepen the humor, because Meemaw knows exactly how to push everyone's buttons, usually on purpose. Instead of watching Georgie and Mandy react to life, we'd be watching Meemaw orchestrate chaos, which is almost always funnier. There's also the simple fact that Meemaw's life, as shown throughout young Sheldon, is inherently comedic. She runs gambling rooms, dates questionable men, bends the law when convenient, and somehow always escapes consequences through charm, attitude, or sheer luck. Any one of her adventures could carry an episode on its own. Now imagine that same energy carried into Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, where she'd be navigating the 90s, trying to adapt to new technology, clashing with Mandy's ambitions, or secretly sabotaging people she doesn't like, all while pretending she's doing it for the good of the family. The comedy potential practically writes itself. Georgie and Mandy's storyline, as it is now, leans toward emotional realism, early marriage stress, financial pressure, career mismatches, and the difficulty of finding identity while raising a baby. Those themes are strong, but they naturally limit humor. Meemaw, however, doesn't live in realism. She lives in mischief. She's bold enough to make trouble but lovable enough that audiences root for her, and that combination makes her one of the most watchable characters in the entire franchise. Ultimately, Georgie and Mandy are meant to grow, struggle, and face real consequences. Meemaw, on the other hand, is built to entertain. She's the character who can elevate even an average storyline simply by walking into the room with a sarcastic comment or an ill-advised plan. And that's why, if Georgie and Mandy's first marriage ever wanted to be purely funnier, centering Meemaw, or even giving her a more dominant storyline, would instantly transform the tone of the show. She's the franchise's untapped comedic powerhouse, and making her the lead would highlight exactly why the Cooper family became such a fan-favorite universe in the first place.